This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
I feel like we need to be upstanding right now because there's practical royalty in the house. It is the US Ambassador to Australia, Sweet Caroline Kennedy.
Hey, Caroline, is this song really written about you by Neil Diamond?
Well, that's what he says. But
Yeah.
I don't know. He said, yeah, so how about that?
That is amazing.
I
We've all
know.
been singing along to this at parties along the journey. I had
Now
no
it's
idea
gonna
it was
be
about you.
Now it's going to be so different now when you
Yes.
sing along. Yeah, because you'll be able to think of me.
Well, we'll put it back in the rotation. Obviously,
Yes.
normally
Yeah.
we're playing Dua Lipa or maybe Ed Sheeran. we'll give Neil a bit of a run for you.
Now, you have been seeing all corners of Australia, even just in the last few weeks.
In the last couple of weeks, yeah, we were in the box rallies. I drove from Adelaide to Uluru, and my colleague here from Perth drove all the way from Uluru to Perth, and they had a 1,500-kilometre detour.
Oh.
So it was the longest one ever. But
It's a decent detour,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
A couple of emus on the road or something. What happened, do you know?
Yeah, the road was washed out.
Yeah,
and
right.
so, but he had a great time. It's such a great community and such
Yes.
a great cause.
Yeah, that raises heaps of money, I know that. So what did you see along the way? So you would have stopped in places like Cooper Pedy and stuff then?
He did. We went to Unadilla, the racetrack, where we camped out, and we went to Roxby Downs.
Yeah.
And we went through William Creek.
Yeah.
Pub, I think is that what it's called.
Yes, yeah.
And so it was amazing. We saw a lot of nothing and a lot of amazing scenery, and cars got stuck, cars got broken. So that's what makes it really
How did they
exciting.
get you to do it?
I was dying to do it. I had to get them to do it.
Really?
Yes. I heard about it at a Bunnings sausage sigil where I met two guys who were raising funds so that they could do it. And I took a look at their car, and I couldn't believe this could even drive out of the parking lot. And so it just seemed like such a great thing and a great way to for people, who have survived cancer, who know somebody who's going through it or whatever, to come together and do something that would just, transform the experience from something really difficult to something really positive.
So did you have to go on Gummy and buy an old car?
Was
or
it 2004 Ford station wagon?
That's right. Yeah, they helped us get it. The box rallies helped us get the car because we were having a little difficulty at the embassy, and but we painted it, and our whole community came together, and everybody put names on it of somebody that they were wanted us to be driving for.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so it was really, really nice.
You must have thought you were a long way from New York when you're out the back of your dad or whatever.
That's a good and a bad thing. So, but it was amazing. Just the sky, the night sky. And really, they divide you up into buddy groups. So, buddy group 12 was my buddy group, and that was just a great group of people. So, I hope that I could stay in touch.
So did you have to pitch a tent along the way and camp on the side of the road?
Yes. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of tent versus swag, so I got a lot of conflicting advice. But I went with tent.
And is the Secret Service following you along in a?
I don't know. That would be secret. That would be secret. I couldn't talk about that.
Otherwise, it's just service. It's just a service now. That's quite an experience. Yeah, as Nat said, we haven't done anything like that. But
You should do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't you broadcast from the?
Yeah, we could.
Well, I didn't see you at the finish line.
No.
Where were you?
Super busy.
It's a really great point.
Really?
Yeah, getting ready for the derby, which you went to.
Which I
You went
went
to the
to.
derby.
Well, I had time to go to both. So next
That's
year,
a
if
great
they come to
point.
Perth, you have to go out there.
Yeah,
you
for
should see
sure.
these cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Derby, it was a bit of an unexpected victory for my team, the West Coast Eagles. So
Okay.
now it seems like
Congratulations.
you might be the lucky charm. Do you mind coming to every Derby from now on?
That was great. I had such a good time. And I think I'm starting to understand what's going on the field.
Well,
Not
good luck to that.
fully, but yeah, exactly.
That is hard to communicate to people from another country.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you your time up in Exmouth as well. When I was up in Exmouth before, and I didn't realise how much presence the US had in Exmouth with the joint military base there. Can you tell us what was that set up about?
Or is that
in
a
the first
secret
place?
too?
Was that another secret?
It's incredible history and it was great to be there on Anzac Day because the whole community came out, a lot of Australian defense personnel and U.S. military who are there now, and they were talking about the history of the town and how, the U.S. presence there really helped to set it up, and so it was it was great. I got to go to the high school and bake biscuits with the students.
Yeah, right.
Well, kind of bake them because they weren't really done when we finished. But
so you never got Anzac biscuits? You
no,
mean?
yeah, they're sort of raw Anzac biscuits. But they were delicious, and the kids were great. But the U.S. military still has a few really interesting solar observatory there. So we're about to come to the maximum amount of solar flares. And so they are watching the surface of the sun because historically there have been, not very often, but huge eruptions on the sun, and that could just take out all the power.
So, and we're about to roll into a heap of those now.
We're about to roll into the possibility of more. Not probably a big one, but
worried?
a little one. No, they've got it covered up there. No problem. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sun is shining in Exmouth, and they are watching
it from there.
Yeah, they have their eyes on it. But I guess it's an amazing location, and the reef is so incredible, and it's such a world treasure. I just can't believe
Did you
what
swim
I
with
saw.
the whale sharks?
You did.
Swam with the whale sharks.
In person, when you saw it underwater, the
Oh
whale
my
shark.
gosh.
Can you
How
give us an
amazing
idea
is that? Have you done it?
No.
No, mine got cancelled the day that I went up. That was the year before last because of the weather conditions.
Oh,
The
okay.
swell was up.
You
that
should go
day. It was
up there
really
right
windy.
now because the weather conditions are great, and and the whale sharks are there. So we were really, really lucky, and it's just amazing to see this creature just all of a sudden right in front of you. You can't see it, and then all of a sudden it's right there, and then you swim alongside it, and then it slowly descends and disappears.
So size-wise,
just
what's the
amazing.
comparison? Because I've heard people say it's like a bus or being next to a van or something.
Huge.
Is it, yeah?
It's really huge, and it's even bigger than him over there.
That's Harry, yeah.
I know, he's tall,
He's the
isn't
last
he?
whale shark.
Yeah, it was they were amazing, really amazing. And there are all these little fish swimming along with them, like inside their mouth, but they're not eating them. So it's really, you just feel like you're part of the whole
Are
of
you
the
a
world.
water person anyway, or did you get thrown in there?
Yeah,
literally in the deep end?
Well, I spent a lot of time by the ocean and getting thrown into the ocean and getting thrown off the boat into the ocean. So I'm used to that. But it was really amazing. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever done. So
now, can I ask you a few questions about being an ambassador? Is this your first ambassadorial role, or did you?
I was ambassador to Japan under President Obama.
Okay. Yeah, right.
So which is really different than being ambassador to Australia.
Yeah.
But I feel so lucky to have been in both of these two amazing countries, amazing allies that the U.S. works so closely with, and so I'm and both of which are really connected to my family story.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an Australian coast watcher who saved my father's life in World War II.
Yeah, right.
And so I feel like a debt of gratitude here, and of course his PT boat was sunk by the Japanese, and then my father spent the 1950s corresponding with the destroyer captain who had sunk his boat.
Oh, wow.
And invited him to his inauguration and sort of really pursued reconciliation. So it was really a privilege to be there. It was really amazing. He sent him a picture when he was president to the destroyer captain, and it was inscribed to Captain Hanami, late enemy, present friend.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
That is amazing.
So he had hoped to come to Japan and Australia in his second term.
Yes.
So I feel like it's amazing that I have had the chance to be in both these places.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Is it hard being away from home for such a long period of time? I know you're doing a debt of duty to the nation, but...
Yeah, well, I miss my family. I miss my kids. But I'm going to go home in a couple weeks because I'm going to have a second grandchild. So
nice.
that's really exciting. But they've come to see me, and they're going to, they all moved home during COVID, so we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, right.
So this is probably good for everyone.
So when they come, do they come and stay at the embassy with you? Is that do you treat the embassy as your home? Is that the way it works?
Well, you can. My daughters come. My son came and he got a caravan, and he just caravanned around. He didn't even come to Canberra yet. So
Too cold, I'm out of here.
he wanted to go surfing, so that was great. But he came to the Solomon Islands with me last August.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we went to the place where my father's boat was sunk. So that was really great to share that with him.
Carolyn, there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, and in particular in this region. You're talking about Japan, that you were an ambassador, but with China's presence and stuff going on in the Middle East. And it seems like the US and Australia in particular trying to shore up this area. Is it difficult for you with different conversations that are going on between different nations? Because everyone seems to wanting to flex their muscles.
It's the art of diplomacy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think, but we also are, as is Australia, working to continue and increase dialogue with China. Both of us, it's our biggest trading partner. Our
Yes.
Secretary of State is there now. So there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world, as you say. But there's also an obligation to talk and manage those relationships responsibly. So that's, I think, what everyone is also trying to do.
But when there's a lot of threats out there, and when you're having a conversation with other representatives, do you get on the front foot? Or because a lot of the stuff we see in the media, they're going, "Oh, we told them, they need to pull their heads in, and they, all this kind of stuff."
Right.
Does that happen when you're face to face, or is it pretty?
Well, I'm here, serving in Australia, and as I did in Japan, which is a really close ally. So most of my conversations about how we work together, we have shared interests. We're both democracies. We share, the rule of law and commitment to human rights, and so our conversations are much more about what can we do together in the region to help people to, help bring health care or fight climate change in the Pacific, things like that. It's much more of a partnership and sort of an affirmative agenda. And then I leave the other conversations to others.
Yes. I mean, this is a plum gig, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Could not be better.
Yes.
Or more important, actually, more strategic. I mean, we're so close, but this is also one of the United States, if not most important, relationships in the whole world. Australia and the U.S. do partner together in ways that we don't with any other country, and AUKUS is a great example of that. And now we're working together on critical minerals and the green energy transition. So WA is at the center of the alliance, which is at the center of U.S. foreign policy.
Yeah.
In case, no pressure, though.
Yeah, I don't feel it.
Yeah, we don't feel it. Is it a set term? Are you like an ambassador for the term, like a presidential term? Is that the way it works?
Yeah, so I'll be finished up next January.
Oh, then what are you going to do?
I don't know. Probably go back to Exmouth.
Swim the whale sharks again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What happens if someone else asks you to do another term somewhere else? Would you go to another country again, or you
I have
just
to go home first. I have to go home first.
Give me a break.
Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't get better than this. So I'm so lucky.
I wanted to ask also about being a Kennedy. It's such a world-renowned name, and I guess
it's
in
dynasty,
England, where we know
it?
the Queen was there and all that, it's kind of like the royal family of the United States. Would
Is that
be
fair?
it?
Well, we don't have royal family in America. That's the whole point.
They don't need a royal family. They've got the Kennedys. It is a name that everybody knows.
Yes.
And everybody, has an opinion about, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Is that legacy, does it weigh heavily on you, or do you...
Well, I certainly, I've always been me, and I'm so proud of my family. Both my parents just made, such a historic impact, and really both of them, I think changed the world for the better. So I'm really proud, and of my whole family. My Uncle Teddy continued in the Senate until 15 years ago, and passed all the healthcare legislation, education, labor standards, all of it. So there's a lot. I feel so proud of, and I want to, contribute as well. And then, everybody has their own opinion about everything, so that's nothing new.
Your time being in and around the White House, do you remember what it was like kind of living there? I know you were young at the time.
Yeah, well, I remember what I I did every day, which was get candy from the different secretaries, and everybody was so nice to me. And
you just do the circuit.
Yeah, and you make, paperclip necklaces, and, I had my pony, and so, but I remember,
macaroni.
Macaroni.
Yeah. And it was the famous photo of your brother playing under the desk.
Yes, I remember going under the desk. And getting ready, with my father before he went to the office, and he was having breakfast, and so little kid things. I wasn't aware of the big issues.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, what a life.
Thank you so much for coming in. It's been an honour.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ambassador Kennedy.
Thank you.
If you manage to come back between now and the end of your term, we'd love to see you again.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love to.
Brilliant.
That's great.
Thank
okay.
We can also follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, you can. Instagram, Twitter, U.S. Embassy Australia.
But no TikToks, I'm imagining.
That was in poor taste. Okay?
Sean, don't upset the ambassador. Thanks so much, Caroline.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.